Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about Awakening tier list as of May 2024. This is mostly going to be about PVE. I'm not going to talk about PvP too much because I can't really test it accurately. If you're curious about how strong an Awakening unit is in PvP, I highly suggest you guys check out Marisa's channel, or Insight Gaming channels, or even Gameplay Horizon's channel. Generally speaking, most of the Awakening units are going to be good in PvP due to their A9 nodes. As you can see, in PvP, it increases damage of heroes and some creatures by 50%, can stack with other effects. And then on the right side, damage reduction by 15%. And the A10 nodes only applies to the Awakened unit themselves, so Womigon is going to get 15% damage dealt to enemies in PvP, and then damage taken reduced by 50% in PvP. Alright, so coming to Awakened units in general, I'm going to talk about my first one. This is like my favorite Awakening unit so far, Womigon. He's a great PvE unit. Now, at 8-3, he becomes an absolute tank. They did rework his A3 passive recently. It used to be damage received is reduced by 50% for 40 seconds, but now it's permanent. At 8-3, he just becomes a pure tank. You won't notice a difference. You won't notice a difference in damage that much. But when you get to 8-5, his ultimate starts doing damage equal to 40% of max HP. This is where you notice the huge damage from the rest of the other tanks. Definitely want to get him to A7 as free to play and stop there. Coming to the gearing, this is where I usually run in PvP and sometimes in PvE when I'm too lazy to make a PvP crit set. So I'm running here Blessed and Opportunistic, HP, HP, HP. Now regarding PvP substats, you want him to build as much as HP as possible, followed by damage reduction and crit damage reduction. Now he doesn't need any accuracy at all in his kit. Now coming to PvE, this is an example you can run. Surge with Signet Overlord, try to get him to close to 100% support rate. Now for the bottom row, we're going to be using CR gloves, HP helmet. Now I don't have a HP helmet or HP boot for my Signet or Surge, so I'm going to be using this for now. Alright, so coming to some footage of him in PvE. Okay, so this was last highlight. This was 18-1. Here, I wasn't running Womigon in crit gear, except Connor, he was in crit gear, and Orton was in his normal tank gear. As you can see, even with normal tank gear, Womigon is way ahead in the charts. And then Connor with crit gear is about 2 build behind, I think, and then Orton's about half the damage away. Okay, coming to Holy Lance, this is my attempt today on day 3 of the new phase. Both Connor and Womigon are in crit gear. As you can see, 2.6 bill versus around 800 mil. It's a huge difference. Okay, so this was last endless. Now only Connor and Womigon were in crit gear. Orton and Carabine were not. As you can see, Connor and Womigon are fighting for the top. It was a pretty close battle, I think. Alright, stage 1 exotic. As you can see, the huge damage difference between Womigon, Thresh, and Orton. So I'll be playing Womigon as a S tier. He's like an absolute god tier of tanks right now, if you are to exclude Connor. Okay, so let's move on to the next 2 Awakened heroes. I'm going to combine both the summoners. So as of now, we have 2 Awakened summoners, Daniel and Anpu. Now there's a huge disparity between them after the release of A7 Anpu. So Daniel was the first Awakened unit that was introduced. At release, he was pretty good, but now he's completely fallen off after A7 Anpu Awakening. Coming to the gear, we're gonna run him into Madness and Signet, and he has like a very few uses right now. You're gonna mostly use him for his PvP bonuses due to this A7 effect right here. Summon creatures present on the battlefield, summoners take 50% less reduced damage. And then coming to this passive right here, leader. When their allies summon on the battlefield, the summoners gain their 5 damage reduction against ranged attacks. And then this passive, I'm not even sure if this works properly. When an enemy on the battlefield uses a displacement skill and reduces crit range treatment rate by 30% for 5 seconds. So this is a PvP aura right here. Honestly, I'm not even sure if this is working or not. But yeah, if you just started playing and you're deciding on what to awaken for summoners, definitely go for Anpu. There's a huge disparity between them right now. Most of the time for PvE, you're going to be running Anpu, Amat, Jack City, Thor, either Purin or Masrani as the support. Okay, coming to the god of PvE right now, you can pretty much use this guy anywhere. Dominic used to be the god of PvE, but he got completely replaced by A7 Anpu right now. Coming to the gearing, Surge, and I'm using Surge and Overload with the accuracy helmet. Now, with the recent update of the Divine Prototype gem system, you can usually run accuracy on the 3rd slot and then change your gloves to crit damage, and even use a crit rate gem. Now, I don't have a really good crit damage glove, otherwise I would have done that. And then I want to swap this helmet to attack helmet while I'm using the accuracy gems. So you try to get them close to 100 CR and as much attack and crit damage as you can, along with around 200 accuracy for now. And then other gearing options, this is Bugmaster. Now these are horrible, this is just for an example. You can use this for Spider and some summer boss stages. Okay, so regarding when he gets powerful, definitely starting from A5. This ultimate becomes a massive broken ultimate at A5, and you definitely want to go to A7 too. Okay, coming to some PvP footage of Daniel and Anpu.
Okay, so this is Crimson 24. As you can see, the damage difference between an A7 Anpu and an A7 Daniel. Anpu's about 9 times more damage than Daniel. So this is exotic stage 11. You don't really use Daniel here, it's pretty much just Anpu. You can use it for the last 3 exotic stages. Okay, so this is stage 20 of Ruler of Truth. You can see here again the damage difference between A7 Anpu and Daniel. Even Daniel's getting out DPS by Jack City and Amat. Okay, so this is stage 20 of Thundercliff. As you'll see here, it's completely Anpu show. Daniel is nowhere to be seen on the charts. Okay, so coming to Twilight, actually Daniel here has a massive damage increase compared to the other PvE areas, even Sith. But here I was using Masrani instead of Daniel. Okay, so last Twilight, unfortunately, I didn't record 17.9, so this is going to be a screenshot from Maria's Chapter 17 Twilight run. This is 17.9. As you can see here, Awakening Daniel is beating Anpu surprisingly. And Sif is even out DPSing Jack City here, usually doesn't. Now, Daniel and Sif have increased damage here due to the summer buff, spirit buff. You won't see this close of a damage difference between Anpu and Daniel in other areas of PvE. It's just in Twilight. Okay, so coming into where I would place Anpu and Daniel on the tier list, definitely Anpu will be the first A7 unit I would prioritize if you don't have any Awakened units at all. And then compared to Daniel, he's fallen off. I wouldn't recommend putting any shards in him right now. Maybe they'll release a summoner that does something more than Daniel. We'll have to see on that. Adding to this, A7 Anpu, you can use them pretty much in most of the PvE content. Guild Hunt, Spider, Whale, Turbine, Endless if you don't have the units, Holy Land Counteract. It's pretty much like the god right now. Okay, coming to the 3 supports that got awakened, we have
Masrani, Miranda, and Rez. So let's start off with Rez. Now Rez, I think was like the third awakening unit that was introduced, and you can get his crystals for free from the Galactic shop. So let me show that real quick. So yeah, it's gonna be 150 for his copy and 150k for his crystal. I highly recommend you start buying this one out each week. If you have spare, you can buy the copy out too. So Rez currently has like a very few niche uses. Right now you can use them with energy after Awakening and Skino Edition for PvP. And then other places I pretty much used in PvP was Guild Hunt with Anpu. I think that's pretty much the only places I've been using them so far, and I haven't seen anyone else talk about him being used that much anymore. But he is pretty much like the free-to-play way. You can get him to A7 pretty easily. I haven't spent anything on him, and I got him to A7 recently. Coming to the gear, I run him in Unleashed and Zephyr AS boots. Try to stack as much AS on him so he can cast his ult faster. And this is, if I ever use him in PvP, this is what I run, but I haven't updated his gear in a while. USDR boots, HP helmet, and then HP helmet. Try to build him as tanky as possible. This is not really accurate, this is outdated. Alright, coming to Masrani. Masrani is a great PvP unit due to his 6th slot, and also he's really great in PvE at 8-7. So let's cut his talents real quick. What does he get at 8-3? So 8-3 he gets a passive, it's called Void Stars. Increases the HP of all heroes by 10% at the start of the battle. And in PvP you get an additional 10%, so this is insanely good in PvP. Who would you pair him with? Summoners, tanks, vanguards. Usually don't do it with vanguards, usually tanks or summoners. Alright, coming to the A5. He gets a new ultimate skill called Battle Prayer. Restores 10% Masrani's max HP all out there, plus charge shot so he gets damage reduction by 20%. And then reduces the energy of rage or enemy targets in area by 300. Alright, 8-7, it just enhances the A5 ability from 20% to 40%, so it's pretty good. Void Stars skill enhanced. So the first 30 seconds of the battle, all allied heroes receive 30% damage reduction. And then this is where you unlock the 6th slot. So definitely you need to bring him to A7 to use him in PvP due to the 6th slot. I highly recommend getting Masrani to A7 after Anpu if you want to focus on PvP. He's also really good for PvE too. You can use him for most content too if you don't have Purn or something. Alright, coming to Miranda. Miranda I think was the second to latest addition into the Awakened units. So coming to her talents, 8-3. Her max HP is increased by 30%, and then her injection gets another target. This is really great for PvE and PvP. Coming to the 8-5, Resonance Field. Protective field on area for 7 seconds. All allies gain a shielding with 50% of Miranda's max HP. All allied heroes take 50% less damage from outside. So this is really great for PvP and PvE. Usually you're going to pair it with Hunters and Energy. And you can also pair with like Summoners if you're missing Purn or Masrani. And the most important thing, they're immune to the knockdown effect, so tanks can't really do anything against the A7 Miranda. And you gain 2 layers of Light Barrier each time you cast the ult. It's going to stack up after a while, especially in PvP and also PvE. Alright, coming to Area 8-7 Enhanced. Enemies lose 100 energy or rage every 3 seconds in area of protected field. So this pretty much counters assassins and vanguards. Even tanks if you throw like Womigon into the backline. And then most importantly, the number of layers of Light Barrier has increased from 2 to 4. So her another A7 enhanced ability is shield amount increased by 10%, and then this is where you get the 7 pound. Definitely you gotta get both Masrani and Miranda to A7. They're gonna be a core unit for PvE and PvP. Alright, coming to some areas where you can use Masrani, Rez, and Miranda. Okay, here are a few clips of Miranda and Masrani in states full exotic. I'm not gonna include like all of the clips from Twilight and this other PVE, otherwise this video is gonna be taking too long. So as you can see here, absolute beast. Usually Jack City will die, but with Miranda, you can keep him alive. Okay, coming to the placement of the tier list for Miranda, Masrani, and Rez. For Rez, I'll definitely put him in B tier. He has some niche uses, like I mentioned. Coming to Masrani and Miranda, they're definitely God tier, S tier. If you're focusing on PvP, after A7 Anpu, I would prioritize getting A7 Masrani and Miranda, and then you can go for Womigon after. If you only care about PvE, I would suggest A7 Anpu first, and then Womigon, and then followed by A7 Masrani and Miranda. So Masrani and Miranda are pretty much shining all the PvE content right now. I would definitely get them after A7 Anpu, or after even Womigon, if you choose to prefer half carry for your tanks. Okay, coming to the Vanguards, the only Vanguard we have that right now that's awakened was Leo. And overall, if you're talking about Vanguards, if you want to compare who does the most damage, it's obviously going to be the SP or Zane. If you look at Zane scaling on his ultimate, 2000 of attack, but this cannot crit. And then once you have the +2 on the commander, 2800. It's pretty crazy, right? Then once you reach 150 accuracy, this can strike an additional target, so a little bit of AoE there. Now let's look at Leo's ultimate. So this was the non-awakened one. So he gets 720% attack on his ultimate for a non-awakened Leo. Coming to the ultimate version, so we get less than 100% with this A5 ultimate. Coming to his potentials, so at 8.3 he gets HP restoration. Every time he takes damage, he restores 1.5% of his max HP. But here you can get a new feature with his ultimate. You can swap between rage or energy. Now most of the time you're going to be using rage in PvP along with Zane if you have him. And story mode, I always run him in energy. With Twilight, you're going to run him in energy too. Alright, coming to the A5. Leo recovers 10% max HP, charging for 370% attack 3 times. Now he has insane lifesteal. When for the first time this is activated, Leo becomes larger, max HP increases by 20%, and reduces 10% HP. And during charge, Leo is immune to control effects, which is really important. And Vanguards cannot crit at all. Coming to the A7, it increases ultimate damage by 15%, and every third instance deals 3 true damage. And coming to this other A7 effect, he gets damage reduction against range units at a distance of 4 meters or more, and they deal 30% less damage. This also applies to true damage, so very good against hunters. He's mostly a PvP unit. Now, actually, in story mode, this is my main tank. I try to use with other Vanguards. Heimdall works sometimes, or sometimes he doesn't. Zane, Ares, Clear just get one shot. Leo's like absolute beast right there with insane lifesteal. And let me show you some other parts of PvE with all the Vanguards.
Okay, this is stage 20 Thunderglyph. As you can see here, Zane's going to be the main damage dealer. It's going to be at the top of the charts. He even out-DPS's my Heimdall. Leo's going to fall behind Ares. Leo's not really meant to do the most damage here, as Zane has its insane single target. Alright, story stage 110. As you can see here, the insane lifesteal on Leo and how tanky he is. This is pretty much what I run. Without him, I couldn't probably clear it, even with A7 Cora. Alright, coming to where I would place Leo on the Awakened tier list. I actually had a hard time deciding where I want to place him. For example, on my weak 3 account, a non-awakened Leo carried me all the way to stage 35 where I could unlock Ketosian, and like I said, he wasn't awakened. Like, he's mostly a PvP unit. In terms of damage between the other Vanguards, Zane is going to be your primary damage dealer, followed up by Ares, and if you have SP, it's going to be Zane and Heimdall.
Usually it's going to be like on the 4th of charts. So for this reason, I'm only place him in good. Now, Leo has like also very few uses in PvE like Daniel and Rez. For example, you're going to be using it on Endless if he's in the point bonus ranking still. And for Twilight, I never really used them on the Vanguard series because the Vanguard series are insanely overtuned. Even for 18-4, I think I use it Ares, Heimdall, and Zane. But yeah, he's mostly a PvP unit. He's gonna be your frontliner for PvP. I would definitely prioritize getting Ace on Anpu again, like I mentioned. Anpu is pretty much the god right now for anything. So yeah, definitely go for Anpu first. Alright, coming to the energy awakening, the only energy awakening here we right now we have is a Rav. Now in terms of PvE, Rav sometimes does out DPS take. It depends on what you're doing in PvE. Mostly she's also like a PvP unit. In terms of PvP, energy are at the rise again, but you do need to have A7 Miranda and Immortal Skino along with A7 Rav for energy to do something in PvP. Right, coming to your gearing, now I don't have that many good bottom row pieces, so I'm going to be using Burst with her in PvE and PvP. As you can see here, these are really horrible. This is like the best set I could make on her that I left for spare equipment. Alright, coming to her awakening talents. So 8-3, she gets a new talent called Impact Mine. At the start of the battle, she places 4 mines in the area of the team. So this is going to be countering assassins, tanks, vanguards. With enemy 7 mine, dealing the damage all enemies within 3 meters of the mine, equal to 300% of Rav's attack, and stunning them for 4 seconds, while also reducing the energy at rage by 200. And most importantly, you want to keep her in the middle row, even for PvE or PvP. So if you put her in the middle row, she's going to have 1500% max HP increased for attack, and she gets damage taking reduced by 70%. And also true damage, but this only lasts for 60 seconds. Coming to A5. This is just an updated version of previous old. While a madness state, Rav's skill damage increased by 180%, crit damage is increased by 200%. Ignores the guardian state, so this is pretty much like Canis and tanks, Wami, Connor, Pandey, Orton. And deals 50% of his damage to summoning creatures. Now A7, she gets an insane lifesteal shield, so she should not die in PvP or PvE. You can pretty much use her in 17th Twilight boss, and she doesn't die until the end if you use A7 Miranda and Kieran in the team. So she gets a shield equal to 200% attack and 100% lifesteal for 5 seconds. Places 2 mines in the area of the team. And then this is her knockback effect on her A7 potential. This is really good for PvP. If you see Marissa's video, when he showcased A7 Random Skino, a Max Connor and a mostly Immortal 5 tank team with A7 Womigon were not able to do anything at all. They were just stun locked the entire time. Right, so coming to the damage comparison of the energy teams and PvE.
Okay, so this is state 17 of Crimson Rot. As you can see here, Jaina is still the queen. Rav is closely behind, but Jaina ends up being twice as damaged at the end. State full exotic, Jaina still up DPS as Rav here. Alright, so this was the second round of the new Twilight. As you can see here, Jaina and Take followed by Rav. Jaina is still the queen. This is going to be the same situation for Endless. Okay, in regards to where I would place Rav in the tier list, definitely above Leo on the A good tier list, because energy have more uses than Vanguards in PvE right now. But yeah, for PvE, Jaina and Take are going to be your PvE carries for now. Rav is definitely a PvP goddess for energy, but energy are still bad without A7 Rando, Skino, X30, and A7 Rav. I would definitely start awakening your Rav after you get A7 Miranda, not before, since it's going to be primarily a PvP unit. Like I said guys, get your Anpu to A7 ASAP. If you don't have him there, then you can prioritize other units. keep in mind we don't have an non-SP awakened assassin yet. So if the next assassin that gets awakened turns out to counter energy, this is completely gonna waste your resources. Only the devs know that, right? Alright, coming to the last two remaining awakened heroes, we have the Hunters, Risseris, and Emma. Emma was the latest one. Now, coming to Hunters, I don't suggest free-to-play to build or awaken your Hunters yet, because I don't think Hunters are great without the SP. Like, Artemis makes a huge difference in PvP and PVE. Coming to Risseris, this is what I run on her. For PvE, Fade Out and Overlord. For PvP, I use Unleash and Overload. You don't want her to kill herself in PvP. Now, she gets a lot of base crit rate to 22%, so you can work towards more crit damage gear. I actually have too much right here. And my Carmota, the Hunter Commander, also has crit rate on it, so I have too much crit on her. I can't really change anything else on here for now. Coming to potentials, Everlasting Nightmares. This is her AoE skill. Let me show you this real quick. So this is Everlasting Nightmare, Risseris enters Nightmare mode. Basic attacks and skills now target 2 different targets for 10 seconds. So at 8-3, this becomes permanent. And then after her first resurrection, Risseris increases their attack by 30%. So this stacks with Fade Out, making this really great for PvE using Fade Out. Coming to her new A5 ability. So her ult does 4 targets, inflicting fear on the target. So each time the ult hits, it does 450% of her attack and triggers basic attack effects. Now she gets, so at 800 attack speed, she performs 4 additional attacks. And then another new effect is adds a layer of curse to the target. The target will take 10% more singular damage, stacks up to 3 layers. And when she dies, she applies a curse again for each mark of curse. You can see it visually when you're using Risseris. And the curse deals 2 damage equal to 20% of the target's max HP. And in PvP, it's restricted by 200%. Coming to A7. So right at the start of the battle, she applies curse to all enemy targets. And then her other A7 ability, when an allied inferior units are killed, Risseris restores 300 energy, so as in Arcadia. Alright, coming to Emma. So I don't have her at A7 yet. I can get her at A7, but I chose not to, because right now my Hunter lineup is fine in PvP, and my first impression is that she's going to be primarily a PvP unit completely. So let's look at her Awakened Talents 8-3. So during the creation of the battle, she applies to 2 factions. She's also considered an Atlas, and she's on Terran too. Emma's attack increased by 50% when enemies are getting close to Emma. So yeah, this is mostly another PvP talent. Assassins, tanks, vanguards. When opponents teleport or charge near Emma enters the invisibility state, cannot be selected as a target for attack or skill. This is like the same thing as Bailey and Dominic's passive. All incoming damage is reduced by 80%, 5% for 5 seconds. But the thing is, this effect can only be activated up to 1 times every 5 seconds, up to 3 times. So there is a limit on this 8-3. Now 8-3, she also gains crit, but crit damage is reduced by 20%. Okay, so A5, the new one. Emma flies into the sky, activating her weapon activation state, which this is the state where she starts flying and just continuously barrages the enemy. So she fires 6 exploding arrows, each arrow dealing about 307% of her attack. So for every 100 AS, Emma fires 1 additional exploding arrow, up to 6. So under 600 AS, her A5 caps out. Now the most important thing here is the flying. Damage taken reduced by 90%, and Emma is also controlled to all control effects. This is another PvP talent. This also helps her survivability in Holy Land contract. Yeah, so I don't have her ace talent yet, but let's read what it does.
Every third exploding arrow deals at least true damage equal to 3% of target's max HP and reduces their max HP by 1.5%. Okay, and then this one, her flight of invincibility is enhanced. When Emma enters the invincibility state, she instantly restores 3 energy, increases her attack by 50% for 5 seconds. Okay. So yeah, my first impression is that she's completely going to be a PvP unit, not really going to be a core unit for PvE. Coming to her gear, you want her to be in 650 attack speed, but this is horrible gear. I can't really make anything better right now, and I didn't even bother to temper it. It's a really low crit rate. Honestly, I think it's better if I just use this, even though I'm at 274 attack speed, but more stats. Alright, coming to some areas where I compare the 100 damage in PvE. Okay, so this is the guild expression boss for hunters. As you can see here, Risseris is at top, Anna is at second. Artemis is really not that great here, she needs more than 1 unit. Okay, so this is Soul Mine 486. As you can see here, Artemis is going to be the carry. Risseris is usually second or third, and then Emma is at the bottom here. Okay, so this is stage 20 of Thundercliff. As you can see here, the SP is going to be doing the most damage because Artemis shines when there's more than 1 enemy. Emma is pretty much on the bottom of the tier list, just a little bit above Rebecca, and Risseris is at second. Okay, here, so my Artemis ended up dying a few seconds later, but Emma is around 3rd place. I think if I had better gear on her, she may be doing out to DPSing Risseris. Okay, coming to the tier list where I'll place Risseris and Emma. Definitely A tier. They do have some good uses, but for free to play, I would not suggest building hunters yet. I would prioritize building the other awakened units first, and then lastly hunters. Okay, so finally summarize the whole video. If you don't have any awakened units and you just started playing, I would definitely go for A7 Anpu. And if you care about PvP, then after Anpu, go for the supports, Masrani and Miranda. Whereas you can free to play him to A7 easily with the Galactic Store. And then after that, you can go for maybe Womigon into Rav, Leo, Risseris, Emma, and Daniel. For PvE focused players, definitely go for A7 Anpu again. And then go for A7 Womigon, then Masrani, Miranda, probably Leo, or either Rav, Emma, and Risseris, then Daniel. Now the last thing I want to say is, due to the awakenings, the meta changes every 2 to 3 months, or maybe even 3 to 4 months. So this tier list may become invalid in a couple of months. So yeah, but I don't think Anpu will fall off for a while, so I think it's safe to get into A7 for now. I hope this video wasn't too long, guys. I try to compress it as much as possible, but there's a lot of information, right? So thank you guys for watching. I hope this helps some people with what to awaken and stuff. Thank you guys for watching. If you like my content, please comment, like, and subscribe. Bye bye, guys.